So it's a weekly current affair class, and in the weekly current affairs class, the notes has already been shared with you. So let's quickly go with the topic. So long list of topic, almost 18, 19 topics, but I'll be taking the important ones. The Ease Banking Index, then registration under Foreign Contribution Regulation Act (FCRA), a very famous act. Then Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, fisheries development. Then Panama disease, redefining a farmer. Now this is always in debate, so I'll discuss this part in very detail. The reservation issue, Maratha quota reservation हमेशा issue चलता रहता है. In the coming weeks you'll be studying about fundamental rights और वहाँ आप reservation के बारे में you'll also get a decent understanding about that. But I'll give some insight about that. Komal ma'am will cover these areas, fundamental right, but still I can also tell you some basic things. Then right of housing recently, that was in news. Then a very important idea of blockchain voting, a wonderful idea. What is blockchain and what is blockchain technology? So that is something that we'll discuss. Then of course, analyzing the impact of BT cotton, India just became a member of UN Commission on Status of Women. Okay, then very important topic, Global Biodiversity Outlook Report 5. Okay, so these are important topics I'll be covering. The other topics are very small, maybe factual, and after covering these topics, I'll go with other topic. Okay, so let's quickly take one of these topics based on priority. So ARISE ANIC, Atal Innovation Mission AIM. So there's a Niti Aayog. What is Niti Aayog? Niti Aayog is a think tank of India, right? Niti Aayog think tank hai, and it gives inputs to the government, inputs to the policymakers, inputs to the government. They are more about strategic vision. The country का strategic vision क्या होगा? Okay, and strategic vision in all the areas, for center, for states, for local bodies, and so Niti Aayog is a very comprehensive body, and it basically gives an idea that how India should be developed. Maybe the areas could be sustainable development, the areas could be competition among states, the areas could be make in India, areas could be for example development. Okay, it could be science and tech, environment, social issues, education, health. So it's a macro body. It's a think tank which have experts from different areas, and not only economic, social issues, science and tech, environment, every which area. Niti Aayog has a team which focuses, and it gives an idea. So Atal Innovation Mission is a mission which basically looks at how do we develop the innovation culture. India में हम innovation culture कैसे develop करें? One of the prime challenges of India has been that we invest very less money, just 0.7% of our money of our GDP on R&D. And innovation is something that we have to put a lot effort. If India cannot copy, it's like you have to develop your own technology. You can't copy technology from other areas. So this Atal Innovation Mission has launched Atmanirbhar Bharat, Arise Atal New India Challenges. Okay, so Arise Atal, ARISE, Arise, ANIC. So ANIC is Atal New India Challenges to maybe for promote R&D in the MSME and the startup. Now MSME sector, what is MSME? What is the full form of MSME? Medium, small, micro enterprise. Okay, so this will study in economics. So these are growth engines of the economy. MSMEs are like growth engines of the economy because MSME is the largest. Agriculture के बाद they provide largest employment, and they contribute around 15%, some 12% of India's GDP, but they produce jobs in a huge numbers. And MSME sector is the biggest sector which is hit by COVID-19 because MSME sector mainly comprises of small businesses. जैसे आपने कोई छोटा सा firm start किया, आपने कोई manufacturing छोटा सा firm start किया, so you'll come under MSME category. So either it could be a service-based firm or it could be manufacturing-based firm. So MSME sector में innovation बहुत important है because the big challenge in India is that our MSME sector is not able to compete with MSMEs of other countries. For example, Malaysia or Thailand or China is always there, of course, even the Western nations. So we have to develop that startup culture. We have to develop innovation, and that will come only when you develop that enterprising sense among MSCs. So MSME sector को develop करना, push करना, is very important, and that is critical for job creation in India. तो India का जो job creation है वो एक बहुत challenging area है. On an average, I'll give you some fact. Every month, around 1 million people, 10 lakh मतलब 1 million people, every month 1 million people जो हैं वो लोग, they are job seekers, remember. यानी ये नए लोग ऐसे every month this much people, new people, they are job seekers. तो वो they enter in the economy and they start seeking job. So that is a big challenge. यानी every year around 1.2 crore people, new people look for job, and job creation is a big challenge. Try and understand. India is no more an economy where the job will come from private government sector. Government के job limited है. They are defined job. For example, we are preparing for UPSC. It's a defined job. You are preparing for some other government examination, state examination. But the number of people who, the number of jobs that government has वो बहुत limited है. But most of the jobs that will come from private sector, from agriculture, from industry, from services. So हमको क्या करना है? We have to maybe create a mechanism where people start looking beyond traditional job, government job के beyond देखना start करिए. This kind of feeling I always had. And I will say with a lot of I remember when I was in job, I never wanted to do a job. I was in IT sector for more than 4 years. I was doing well, but I left my job because I did not like my job. I felt like my potential are unutilized. उसके बाद I went for preparation for UPSC. Almost there, attempt दिए, every attempt I reached interview, missed by few marks. But when I missed by few marks, I could have taken other jobs. A दूसरा government job, EPFO हो गया या फिर CAPF हो गया, or it could be state services, the pieces and all. मैं बहुत easily इनके लिए भी तैयारी करके job निकाल सकता था, because the threshold was already there when you reach an UPSC interview, which means that you can easily crack the state examination, state government examination or other examination. But I always believe that either I'll do the best job in India, or I will maybe create, or maybe do something which will add value to the society. And very naturally, UPSC preparation or mentoring the students for UPSC, something that came very naturally to me. I felt that I should work in education sector. So ये जो हमारा एक you should aim for good job, maybe UPSC or the job that we are preparing. These are not these, I would not say these are small jobs. These are very important jobs of India, and you'll need a lot of effort and hard work to crack these jobs. Lekin I also believe that we also need to maybe motivate our young generation. हमें अपने young generation को motivate करना चाहिए that they should look beyond traditional job and they should develop that entrepreneurial belt. आपको enterprising होना पड़ेगा. अगर enterprising हो गई तभी life आपकी अच्छी चलेगी. You have to look out of box. You have to look solution which is out of box. I'll give an example. Developed nation में, USA में या इन countries में कोई भी government job जिस तरह से हम लोग के इंडिया में होड़ है वैसी नहीं होती है. The kind of job security India has for government job, that kind of security, it is not there. So ये सारे factors भी important है. But remember, in USA, people who are innovators, people who are hard workers, people who think out of box, inventors, they are valued a lot and they're paid heavily. So that is a kind of culture. And the entrepreneurial belt and जो आपका ये जो startup culture है वो हमको develop करना बहुत जरूरी है. Because if India की जो young generation जो every month 10 lakh people, every year maybe 1.2 crore people, new people are looking for job, वो job कहाँ से आएगी? And for that we have to develop that startup culture. We have to maybe work in the areas which will generate job. जो हमारे MSME sector है, इसका सबसे बड़ा advantage क्या है? It is highly labor absorbing sector. Labor absorbing sector. मैं example देता हूँ. For example, textile. अगर आप textile का एक छोटा सा unit खोलते हो, you will employ 50 people. And maybe the textile का जो turnover है वो 5 CR है. Very easily. Similarly, but when you open a small service firm, आप सिर्फ 10 लोगों को employ कर रहे हो. You are just employing 10 people. And वहाँ पे भी turnover 5 CR है. Try and understand. एक textile unit जहाँ पर turnover 5 CR है, वहाँ you are employing 50 people. And there is another service, एक consultancy firm आपने start करी. And a consultancy firm is also, ये service firm है. ये service industry से है. and textile is of course manufacturing. तो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग या एमएसएमई सेक्टर में यू जनरेट जॉब्स विद द सेम, आप सेम बिजनेस में आप ज्यादा जॉब जनरेट करते हो. एंड कंट्रीज लाइक चाइना, साउथ कोरिया, मलेशिया, इंडोनेशिया, Thailand, all these countries have done very well in the MSME sector. The MSME sector is a sector which has a huge potential for job creation, and this is where we need to work really in real sense. इंडिया में एमएसएमई सेक्टर के साथ प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हमारा एमएसएमई सेक्टर बहुत वीक है. इट इज नॉट कॉम्पिटिटिव इनफ. एंड सी द काइंड ऑफ डिपेंडेंसी दैट वी हैव फ्रॉम चाइनीज आइटम. तो ये चाइनीज आइटम पे डिपेंडेंसी क्यों है? बिकॉज हमारा एमएसएमई सेक्टर स्ट्रांग नहीं है, कॉम्पिटिटिव नहीं है. सो वी हैव टू वर्क. So maybe this project somewhere wants to develop that innovation culture in the MSMEs and the startup. Okay, so that is it. So I discussed the background why such initiatives are important. So it's a promote R&D, increase competitiveness of Indian startups and MSMEs. Objective is to collaborate with esteemed ministries and associated industries. Promote research, innovative solutions. Out of box सोचना होगा. Tomorrow is Vishwakarma. Devas. Vishwakarma is Devas is or is when you do you do puja of the machines and maybe industry machines की पूजा करता है. Just a day ago we had Engineers Day. Okay, so but India is a place where innovation is very much there in our maybe genes. It's just that we have to come out of that traditional mindset. जिनको government job चाहिए वो job लें, nothing like that. But in general, everybody cannot get a job. That too government job. So job, you have to be a job creator. आपको job creator बनना पड़ेगा. It is in line with PM's mandate of Make in India, Startup India, Atmanirbhar Bharat to fast track the growth of MSME sector. It will be driven by the program will be driven by ISRO, 4 ministries, that is Ministry of Defense, Food Processing, Health and Family Welfare, and Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So ये हमारा रहेगा. And here government, they will the funding of 50 lakh rupees जो है आपको मिलेगा for the applied research. So that is ARISE ANIC initiative. Now remember, ये सब याद नहीं रखना. You have to understand that why such initiatives. आपको ये तो fact मान लो, ठीक है, UPSC can in MCQs you can be asked, but the focus is that why government is taking such initiative is more important. आपने पढ़ा, but हम ये ऐसा क्यों कर रहे हैं? Because if we develop this startup culture, it will have a chain reaction in terms of maybe developing that culture, and that will be very fruitful in long run. हमारे लिए इंडिया के जो job creation का जो opportunity है, that will come from these areas only. Okay. EASE Banking Reform Index. So EASE क्या है? Enhanced Access Service Excellence. So ये these are like these are जो है last year EASE का जो है news में आता था, where government banks were supposed to adopt the EASE model. और इस EASE मॉडल में क्या है? बेसिकली अभी गवर्नमेंट ने परफॉर्मिंग बैंक्स को कहा कि आप ये अडॉप्ट करो. ओके, stands for Enhanced Access and Service Excellence, and the index is created by Indian Banking Association and Boston Consultancy Group (BCG). It is commissioned by Finance Ministry. It is a framework that was adopted last year to strengthen public sector banks. अभी पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स को कॉम्पिटिटिव होना पड़ेगा, उनको रिस्पॉन्सिबल होना पड़ेगा. दे हैव टू adopt digitalization. They have to ensure credit easily available ho. So this is basically for public sector banks only, not for all banks, only for PSUs, sorry, for public sector banks. And they have to be more competitive and service oriented. आपको service oriented बनाना है. तो ये अभी पहली बार उसका numbers आए हैं. Paragi has a question. Are network marketing a good job creating field? Well, Paragi, I have to check that, but I personally believe that network marketing is something is related to service industry. आप नेटवर्क मार्केटिंग उसकी बात कर रहे हो बेटा, जैसे यू हैव एमवे एंड ऑल, आप उसकी बात कर रहे हो? मिडिल लेवल एमएलएम मार्केटिंग लेवल की बात कर रहे हो? आई एम नॉट, इफ यू टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट इज ओके. ओके बेटा, मुझे तो फ्रॉड लगता है. आई पर्सनली फील इट्स अ फ्रॉड, बिकॉज यू आर नॉट क्रिएटिंग एनीथिंग. आप वैल्यू क्रिएट नहीं कर रहे सोसाइटी में. यस, यू आर, सम पीपल आर मेकिंग मनी, बट सो मे बी इसका आउटकम is something that is very difficult to define. But I've definitely have seen a lot of people engaging themselves in this. बट ये सर्विस एरिया है, तो यू हैव टू जनरेट जॉब फ्रॉम एरिया विच इज लेबर एब्जॉर्प्शन. हाँ बेटा, एवरीबडी एवरी सेकंड पर्सन इज गॉट ट्रैप्ड बाय दिस. ठीक है, मुझे भी बहुत सारे लोगों ने अप्रोच किया इन माय लास्ट 15 years. आई हैव अप्रोच्ड बाय मोर देन 10 times by people. My own friends have approached me. So I don't think so. It's not job creating, it's a fraud creating mechanism. And definitely online business is definitely an option. Not, let's come back to here. तो यहाँ पे बहुत सारे थीम है responsible banking में. You have seen the banks have got उद्यम मित्रा. Okay, उद्यम मित्रा मतलब एमएसएमई सेक्टर को आप लोन इजीली प्रोवाइड कर रहे हो. कस्टमर रिस्पॉन्सिबल है एसबीआई नंबर 1. So ये सब है. Again, these numbers are not important. Top 3 banks in improvement from March baseline. तो बस आपको ये याद रखना है ईज क्या है एंड किसने कमीशन किया है, who has created, and that's all. So that is East Banking Reform Index. Now registration under Foreign Contribution Regulation Act (FCRA) क्या है ये? इसका बैकग्राउंड समझते हैं. Let's understand the background. बैकग्राउंड नोट्स में नहीं दिया, थोड़ा सा बताता हूँ. Now FCRA क्या फुल फॉर्म है? Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. Now under this, जैसे मान लो कोई भी इंडिया में एनजीओ है या एनी काइंड ऑफ मे बी टेम्पल हो सकता है या एनी इंस्टीट्यूशन हो सकता है, दे माइट गेट फॉरेन फंडिंग. वो फॉरेन फंडिंग उनको अलाउड है. बट ये जो फॉरेन फंडिंग मिलता है, वी हैव टू इंश्योर दैट दिस फॉरेन फंडिंग, फर्स्ट इट इज लेजिटिमेट, वो सही है. द सेकंड इज व्हाटएवर वेरेवर दिस फॉरेन फंडिंग इज यूज्ड, जहां भी ये फॉरेन फंडिंग यूज हो रहा है, दैट शुड नॉट बी डेट्रीमेंटल टू इंडियाज नेशनल इंटरेस्ट. इंडिया का जो नेशनल इंटरेस्ट है उसमें डेट्रीमेंटल नहीं होना चाहिए. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आपने एक एनजीओ को फंड किया एंड दैट एनजीओ इज टॉकिंग अबाउट पीस एंड मे बी ग्रीन एनवायरमेंट की बात कर रहा है. But basically, many times you have seen that these green environment movement, they block or they kind of, जो development projects उनको रोक देते हैं. They tend to create a aura or they tend to create a mechanism. Pressure group की तरह जो है वो, many time development project को रोक देते हैं in the name of maybe environment को damage हो रहा है and all that. So many a times such mechanism is also there. Many a times security issues होते हैं. आप you are going against national interest. आप यू आर जो डेमोक्रेटिक प्रिंसिपल्स हैं उसका आप मिसयूज करते हो, तो ऐसा भी होता है. एंड दैट इज व्हाई इट हैज बीन न्यूज. और ये बार बार इसलिए न्यूज आ रहा है बिकॉज सिंस 2014 मोदी गवर्नमेंट हैज बीन वेरी क्रिटिकल. व्हाट दे सॉ दैट मेनी इंटरनेशनल एनजीओज, bodies, they started, they funded anti-India activities, and that is as per the IB ministry, इंटेलिजेंस ब्यूरो की रिपोर्ट के हिसाब से है. So this is why FCRA is always there in news. And अभी क्यों न्यूज में है? Because Union Finance Ministry has granted FCRA registration for famous, Golden Temple in Amritsar, enabling to receive foreign donations. Okay, so foreign donation यहाँ इनको मिल सकता है. It is an act to regulate acceptance and utilization of foreign contribution or foreign hospitality by certain individual or associations or companies. It prohibits acceptance and utilization of foreign contribution, of any activity detrimental to national interest and for matters connected to therein, यानी आप फॉरेन फंडिंग करो बट you should be utilizing in the development project. आप डेवलपमेंट का कुछ काम करो, that is okay, but you should not do something which is against India's national interest. इंडिया के नेशनल इंटरेस्ट के अगेंस्ट नहीं होना चाहिए. Now who will decide it is against national interest? Of course government of India will do that. Okay, so जब ऐसा होगा तो FCRA एक्ट का यूज करके they might block the money को ब्लॉक कर सकते हैं. So earlier we had example like Ford Foundation, Amnesty International. तो गवर्नमेंट, ये एमनेस्टी इंटरनेशनल बॉडी है, एमनेस्टी इंटरनेशनल इंडिया वाला जो था, तो इंडिया का जो इनका विंग था. So all these bodies were involved in maybe activities which government felt they are detrimental. तो इनकी फंडिंग सारी रोक दी थी. ये फंडिंग की फॉरेन से आती है. So they invoked FCRA Act. Okay, so central government has power to prohibit any person or organization from accepting foreign contribution or hospitality if such acceptance would likely to be affect prejudicially. यानी वो क्या कर सकता है? They might impact public interest, sovereignty, integrity of India, fairness of election. ठीक है, मान लो अभी आप न्यूज में सुन रहे हो, फेसबुक का जो है न्यूज में चल रहा है. ओके, सच न्यूज आर ऑलरेडी देयर. यस महिमा, आप सही कह रहे हो. बहुत सारे ये तो इंटरनेशनल एनजीओ ही तो है बेटा, ये फोर्ड फाउंडेशन, एमनेस्टी इंटरनेशनल. ओके, सो फ्रेंडली रिलेशन विद फॉरेन स्टेट, हार्मनी बिटवीन रिलीजियस. तो इन बेसिस अगर ये कोई भी फंड इंटरनेशनल फंडिंग अगर इन चीजों को इम्पैक्ट कर रहा है, then government has the power to stop that. Okay, so Prithvi has a question. What is the difference between Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India? Okay, Prithvi, I'll just quickly tell you what is Atmanirbhar Bharat and what is Make in India. Now, Make in India is like a strategic vision, and it's a strategic vision of Government of India launched, I think, on 15 with an objective to increase manufacturing contribution in GDP. So right now it is around 15%. The idea is to increase 25%. So manufacturing sector contribution. So Make in India will invoke, maybe promotion of business, foreign investment. Okay. So basically make in India for Indians, of course, and you make India the export base as well. Export base as well. So that has been the grand vision. And this is, so Make in India is an initiative which was started. It has some 27 areas or sectors which government ka focus hai. Recently in the COVID-19, so this is Make in India. Now recently in the COVID-19, Government of India came with another, Atmanirbhar Bharat. And in Atmanirbhar Bharat, maybe the Make in India is a part of Atmanirbhar Bharat, which focuses on ensuring that India becomes a country which is not depending on foreign, foreign imports, or maybe replacing foreign imports with domestic production. Okay, so that will involve. So Make in India is only about increasing manufacturing contribution, mostly. But Atmanirbhar Bharat is a very holistic vision. And this holistic vision, talks about reforms in India. This holistic vision again talks about the same thing which Make in India says. It is about ensuring that our exports go up. Okay, in general, all the areas. Make in India is mostly about manufacturing, but Atmanirbhar Bharat is about making India self-reliant in almost all the sectors. Because India, one of the biggest advantage of India is that India itself is a big market. So we are 130 crore, 130-35 crore population. So India is a big market. Second, India has huge labor, and these labor, if skilled, so India can become a manufacturing base. So we will not only manufacturing for our own domestic demand, but we can also manufacture for the whole world, like what has happened in China or what is happening in other countries. So India should take advantage of that. So Atmanirbhar Bharat is a more holistic vision which talks about reforming India's, land, labor laws, business, ease of doing business. Make in India, if you can see at present time, is probably a part of, Atmanirbhar Bharat. So Atmanirbhar Bharat abhi, in I think May, Government of India launched this vision. Okay, Prithvi. So don't worry, I'll be covering that in the economics part. In fact, I've already taken a session on Atmanirbhar Bharat. मैंने Atmanirbhar Bharat का already एक session भी लिया था in detail. I think that session must be in the record, in the record lectures. If you want, you can check that. I'll tell you in the weekly current affair वो होगा. Okay, chalo. So FCRA premise, so that you can already read. Okay, so this was the premise of FCRA. Now I'll leave this. Let's leave this. Now, right, Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. Santosh, I'll take this question in the end, beta. This Matsya Sampada Yojana is, see, this is also a part of Atmanirbhar Bharat. So Atmanirbhar Bharat, focuses upon, all the areas: agriculture, industry, services, reforms, laws, simplification of laws, okay, reforms in the areas of land, reforms in the area of labor, reforms in the area of, developing huge infrastructure, okay, ensuring that, India takes a leapfrog, and hum a quantum jump लें. Let's take a quantum jump in the development rather than going in an incremental fashion. So Atmanirbhar Bharat is about radically reforming the way India has been working so far. So it is a very radical reform approach for a holistic reform in almost all the areas. Now, one area is of course agriculture. Now, agriculture is an area which is doing okay, but we need to make agriculture more diverse. And second is agriculture mein, there was an Ashok Dalwai committee, and this Ashok Dalwai committee came in on 15-16. और इस कमेटी का ये कहना था that the problem in India's agriculture is that our farmers are still living in the era of 50s and 60s or 70s. So we have to reform the agriculture so that Indian farmers think differently. And how do we double the farmers' income by 2022? So it gave a lot of inputs. उन्होंने कहा सजेशन दिया कि हम कैसे अपने फार्मर्स इनकम को डबल कर सकते हैं. एंड इट वाज नॉट ओनली अबाउट रिफॉर्मिंग और मे बी इंक्रीजिंग प्रोडक्टिविटी इन एग्रीकल्चर, बट हमको डाइवर्सिफाई करना होगा. एंड डाइवर्सिफाई विल हैपन इन द एरियाज ऑफ यू नो allied sectors. It could be in the areas of food processing, which is linked with agriculture. It could be in the areas of poultry, dairy. It could be in the areas of fisheries. तो उसी लिए a part of that is the fishery program. So प्रधानमंत्री मत्स्य संपदा योजना is about harnessing the fisheries potential. So India has huge potential. So this project aims at fish production, increasing the productivity, strengthening the value chain, okay, improving the quality. आप fisheries को कैसे promote करते हो? Doubling fishers and fish farmers' income, generation of employment. Okay. So because India में fish comes from two areas. Of course, the sea. One is the inland shipping. Inland within river waters या pond आप वहाँ कर रहे हो, or you do in the ocean. So India has huge potential. So we need to harness that potential. So this program is basically talking about how do we invest in the fishery sector. Fishery sector हमको invest करना होगा, and fishery sector generates employment, huge number of employment, and that is the objective. Okay, so enhancing contribution to agriculture, cross value added exports, social, physical, and economic security for fishers and fishermen, and fisheries management, regulatory framework. All these are the macro objectives. Okay, I'll take the question in the end, beta. So it takes about to bring about blue revolution. Blue revolution is increase in fish production through sustainable, responsible development of fisheries sector. And government कितना invest करेगा? Almost 20,000 government will invest in the period of 5 years. Okay, from 2021 to 2024-25 as a part of Atmanirbhar Bharat package. It aims at enhancing fish production by additional 70 lakh ton, increasing fisheries export by almost this much amount of money. So it's a massive, objective, and that is what government is looking at. It aims to double the farmers' income of fishers and fisheries and reduce the losses by 25%. From 25% to 10%, and of course provide employment in the sector. So this is a huge potential sector because India का अपना domestic demand है, and India can also become India can also produce the export. आज भी हम बहुत अच्छा export करते हैं in the fishery sector, and we need to capitalize here. Okay, so you can read all these points for the aim and objectives. Fish production, diversification, intensification. Now remember, these keywords are very important. जब आप revise करो इसके बारे में लिखो, तो just look for the keyword. Okay, just look for the keywords. So these keywords, you can use in your answers. Value addition, post-harvest management, quality improvement, doubling farmers and fish income, fishers and fishers income, like that. Okay, so that is the objective. Now, प्रधानमंत्री मत्स्य संपदा योजना is an umbrella scheme. इसके दो पार्ट हैं. One is central sector scheme and centrally sponsored scheme. Now I'll tell the difference between that. So government of India जब welfare projects लेके आती है, so there are two kind of scheme. One is a central sector scheme. Central sector scheme is a scheme which is 100% of central government. Okay, पूरा government, central government fund करती है. But then is other type is centrally sponsored scheme. यहाँ पर sharing with states might happen. Sharing with states, unless specified. Okay, so there are many schemes. अभी right now 27 centrally sponsored scheme है, तो उसको हम लोग CSS बोलते हैं. So the centrally sponsored scheme में जैसे मान लो center and state sharing model में काम करते हैं. So let's for example center, it is 70-30 ratio. तो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट कितना देगा? 70% देगा, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट 30% देगा. ओके, फॉर एग्जांपल सर्व शिक्षा अभियान. सो हियर मे बी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट विल गिव 70%, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट 30%. सो सच स्कीम्स आर कॉल्ड सेंट्रली स्पॉन्सर्ड स्कीम. और जो 100% सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट देता है उसको हम लोग सेंट्रल सेक्टर स्कीम करते हैं. सो व्हेनेवर यू सी द गवर्नमेंट स्कीम, always look for कि वो सेंट्रल सेक्टर स्कीम है या सेंट्रली स्पॉन्सर्ड स्कीम है. ओके, बट अगेन रिमेंबर, many a times it is seen that कि जो आपका सेंट्रली स्पॉन्सर्ड स्कीम है, ऐसा जरूरी नहीं कि स्टेट शेयर करे, कुछ कुछ 100% भी हो सकता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल मनरेगा. सो मनरेगा इज अ स्कीम विच इज 100% 100% सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, यानी पूरा सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट 100% देता है, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को कुछ देना नहीं पड़ता है, इवन दो इट इज सेंट्रली स्पॉन्सर्ड स्कीम. सो इट डिपेंड्स. तो मैंने ये लिखा है शेयरिंग विद स्टेट्स अनलेस स्पेसिफाइड. सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट 100% भी दे सकता है, बट इन अ सेंट्रल सेक्टर स्कीम 100% is given by the state government, sorry, central government. Okay, so that is it. Okay, so that is यहाँ पे फोकस किया हुआ क्लस्टर एंड एरिया बेस्ड अप्रोच. ओके, सो इट्स अ इवॉल्विंग स्कीम, तो हम देखेंगे. अभी तो गवर्नमेंट ने जस्ट अनाउंस किया है, सो विल सी हाउ दिस स्कीम मे बी comes on ground in the coming days. Okay, so there is a e-Gopala app. Okay, e-Gopala app, comprehensive breed improvement marketplace and information portal for direct use of farmers. Okay, so we do not, तो हमारे यहाँ क्या, हमको ब्रीड इंप्रूवमेंट करना है एंड वी हैव टू डेवलप इंडिजिनस ब्रीड. ब्रीड किसका? डेयरी का. ओके, सो जैसे हमारे यहाँ जो भी आपके काउज हैं, बफेलोज हैं, सो देयर आर टू काइंड. वन इज द देसी ब्रीड, then and the second is of course the hybrid one, you bring it from other places. Now the problem is that जो hybrid breed है, they of course are very good, milk production इनका ज्यादा होता है, they give more milk, but the problem is they are very high maintenance, and so we need to promote desi ones. For example, Sahiwal. So Sahiwal is a Indian cow, a desi cow. So Sahiwal is a desi cow, and this Sahiwal is, you can say, she does not give much milk, but she is very adaptive to India's environment. Disease come hota hai inko, they will adapt, they will eat anything. You can give them, waste of the house also, aap ghar ka waste bhi de doge to they will eat. So that is Sahiwal. The problem is that in the urge to, promote the hybrid ones, somewhere we have left the desi breed. So now government wants to promote the desi breed. Desi breed का एक और important thing is that their milk is more nutritious. So milk is more nutritious. And being desi, which means that they are adapted to India's environment. उनको बीमार नहीं पड़ती, उनको maintenance नहीं चाहिए. But in a hybrid breed, you have to put them in an air conditioner. You have to give them extra fodder. You have to maybe vaccinate them. So that kind of thing is not needed. So right now, government के बहुत सारे schemes हैं जहां पर हमको better desi breed को promote करना चाहिए, and that should be the objective. Okay, so this maybe e-Gopala Act is somewhere is trying to integrate. एक बात याद रखना, that many of the markets are very unorganized. बहुत सारे ऐसे areas हैं बहुत unorganized हैं. So when you bring technology, when you bring app, आप क्या करते हो? आप organize कर देते हो. And this organized app will help everybody. एक तो जो service providers हैं उनको भी help मिलता है, and people who are service takers, they also get help. A very good example is Uber, Ola. आप देखो, पहले आपको travel करना होता था तो कितना मुश्किल था. You have to negotiate with the auto walas, the taxi walas. Okay, so they will charge maybe 4 times, 2 times. But now the Uber technology ने कहा कि भाई हम आप सबको integrate करते हैं. So now in a normal situation, a non-Uber person has 5 trips in a day, but Uber guy is having 25 trips a day. So because 25 trip हो रहा है, so Uber guy can reduce, he or she can reduce the cost from 500 to maybe 200, 300. Okay, so that is how the business is growing. So all the app, जहाँ भी app लाते हो, जहाँ भी technology लेके आते हो, they organize the market. So these kind of app will organize the market. It will create mechanism, and it will maybe the service बहुत easily आप scale कर सकते हो. You can easily scale the service at any which level. Okay, so this is what this e-Gopala app is there. So it basically tries to ensure that the farmers are able to get the semen embryos for their the milks and cows. So that is the Pradhan Mantri's Matsya Sampada Yojana. This is about the dairy sector. Okay. Now there is a Panama disease which has been in news. What is Panama disease? So it's a disease which is mainly found in the it's a fungal disease found in the banana trees. Okay. So recently Indian Council of Medical Research have found a cure for one, It is one of the most dreaded disease of banana. Okay, so it is called fungal disease, Fusarium wilt. Okay, and afflicts banana plant. Okay, तो ये क्या करते हैं, तो अभी आईसी इंडियन काउंसिल एग्रीकल्चर रिसर्च ने एक बायो पेस्टिसाइड डेवलप किया है. बायो पेस्टिसाइड मींस यू आर डेवलपिंग पेस्टिसाइड फ्रॉम नेचुरल सोर्सेज. फॉर जैसे आप एग्जांपल जैसे मानो नीम, सो नीम लीव्स आर कैन बी यूज्ड एज बायो पेस्टिसाइड because the artificial pesticides have a lot of harmful effect, but a bio pesticide will have less harmful effect. Okay, so for long time banana cultivators are struggling with banana disease, and this affects the Cavendish variety or G9 banana cultivator, the most widely grown banana in the world. So more than 60% of the bananas in India are G9 variety, and the name goes by Grand Nene, Robusta, Bhusawal, Basrai, Srimant. Okay, Bhusawal के केले बहुत फेमस हैं. वेयर इज भुसावल? महाराष्ट्र, राइट? सो फार्मर्स इन एटलीस्ट 4 इंडियन स्टेट, बिहार, गुजरात, मध्य प्रदेश, यूपी हैव बीन बैडली अफेक्टेड बाय दिस डिजीज. ओके, तो ये डिजीज को कैसे ट्रीट करते हैं? तो ये क्या डिजीज है? व्हाई इट इज डेडली? बिकॉज इट, अगर ये डिजीज हो जाता है तो दे लाइक बनाना कैंसर. तो एक अगर ट्री में होगा, सो द इंटायर जो आसपास जो प्लांट्स होंगे वहां भी स्प्रेड हो जाएगा. द फंगल रेजिड्यूज बिलो द ग्राउंड इन्फेक्ट्स द प्लांट. Residue below the ground affects the plant through its roots. The infection then stops water and essential nutrients from being transferred to the rest of the plant. The leaves began to wilt and the stem of the plant turning dark brownish, and then the plant dies. If one plant gets it, then the entire plantation can be wiped out. So ये एक बहुत बड़ा challenge है, and that is where the government has been able to find the solution to. So sorry, our research team has able to find the solution for that. So that completes this topic. आज बहुत छोटे छोटे टॉपिक हैं, स्मॉल आर देयर. टिल नाउ एवरीथिंग इज क्लियर गाइस? एनी कंफ्यूजन? एम आई गोइंग स्लो और फास्ट? स्पीड इज ओके आई थिंक. ओके गुड. चलो, नाउ ये इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक है, डिफाइनिंग द फार्मर. सो हु इज अ फार्मर इन इंडिया? हाउ टू डिफाइन द फार्मर? फार्मर क्या है? सो फार्मर is somebody who owns a land. ठीक है, जिसके पास लैंड है वो फार्मर है. कैन वी से दैट? वेल, इट इज डिफिकल्ट, बिकॉज हो सकता है यू हैव अ लैंड इन योर विलेज, बट आप शहर में रहते हो, एंड यू माइट गिव द लैंड टू समबडी, एंड दैट समबडी इज सम रियल टिलर, रियल कल्टिवेटर. ये जो रियल कल्टिवेटर है उसको हम लोग टेनेंट बोलते हैं. सो in the academic debate there has always been a question that how do we help the farmers? अभी जैसे मान लो आपने अपना लैंड किसी टेनेंट को दे दिया, बट दैट इज अ वेरी इनफॉर्मल एग्रीमेंट. एक इनफॉर्मल एग्रीमेंट कर लिया आपने, कुछ भी नहीं, जवानी है. और इनफॉर्मल एग्रीमेंट में क्या है? आपने लैंड फार्मर को दे दिया और फार्मर से कहा ठीक है 50% मेरा होगा, 50% वुड बी योर, एंड यू गो टू योर सिटी. नाउ दैट फार्मर विल यूज योर लैंड, will purchase the agricultural input, seed, fertilizer, सब खरीदेगा वो farmer, and then they will put that, they will maybe work hard for the next 4-5 months, and once the output is there, तब वो आपको 50% दे देगा and 50% अपने पास रख लेगा. Whatever is the agreement. Now problem क्या है? That you being the owner, अगर आप owner हो तो you get all the advantage of government scheme. Now government has multiple schemes for the farmers, multiple schemes. अभी मल्टीपल स्कीम्स तो हैं, बट हाउ आर यू एबल टू इंश्योर दैट एवरी फार्मर गेट्स द बेनिफिट? प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है? द फार्मर हु ओन्स द लैंड, जिसका अपना ओन लैंड है, दे गेट द एडवांटेज. जैसे मुझे लोन चाहिए, लेट्स से आई वांट अ लोन फ्रॉम किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड, KCC. सो इफ आई वांट अ लोन फ्रॉम किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड, आई विल गो एंड गिव माय पेपर्स टू द बैंक. मेरा जो लैंड पेपर्स है मैं उनको शो करूंगा. सो लैंड पेपर्स का कॉपी आई विल गिव. Okay, moment I give the copy of my land paper, the bank will give me instantly, will issue me a loan at a 4% interest rate, in fact 7%. Or if I pay the loan at right time, okay, within 1 year let's say, so government will give me 3% interest subsidy. Okay, so basically आपको interest कितना पड़ा? 7 minus 3, 4%. Can you believe that government is giving you a loan, or government is giving loan to the farmers at 4% interest rate? So that is a big advantage. But ये advantage किसको मिलेगा? ये एक ऐसे advantage farmer को मिलेगा जिसके पास land rights होंगे. Now the problem comes in that when the tenants do the agriculture, tenants agriculture करते हैं, so they don't have a land, right? So they cannot go and take the loan from the bank. And that is where it was very important that government ने कहा कि हमको ये tenant है, ये tenant is actual cultivator, ये तो real cultivator तो ये है, but ownership is not with the tenant. So what do we do? हम क्या करें, हम farmer को कैसे help करें? So one way is of course, and here government came with a model land leasing act 2016. उन्होंने ये कहा कि tenant और owner के बीच एक हम land lease agreement बना लेंगे, और the land lease agreement, let's say, so you will give your land, आप शहर में रहते हो, आपका land है let's say 10 acre, and आपने एक farmer को दे दिया for 10 years, and this 10 years on the land lease, और आपने कुछ fees decide कर लिया, okay, आपने fees decide कर लिया annual, okay, so that is how. Now remember, in this period the farmer has the right to use the land in whatever capacity जो agreement हुआ है. Now if the farmer, ये जो tenant है, if tenant goes to the bank and ये land lease agreement tenant दिखाता है to the of course to the bank, then bank will give them loan. So that is the objective. That the objective is that how do we secure the tenant, because India में आज भी a huge section, almost, I don't have the exact numbers of tenant farmers, but that number is huge. It's in lakhs, in fact, so that is where we need to focus upon. Okay, so Indian landowners traditionally land ownership is a mandatory criteria for availability of benefits under various agriculture schemes in India. Laws governing land leasing operate at different levels across India. So modern Land Leasing Act was introduced to formalize land leasing. Except few states, a majority of state government has not extended the scope to the farmers. Okay? As per 15-16 agriculture census, about 2.65 million operational holdings are either partially or wholly leased. यानी इंडिया में 26 लाख जो होल्डिंग्स है, लैंड होल्डिंग्स है, वो partially or wholly leased है, यानी वो leased के फॉर्म में है, and most of these lease जो है वो informal, remember, informal. So government should try to make this land leasing act more popular. Now land being a state subject का मतलब क्या हुआ? लैंड स्टेट सब्जेक्ट का मतलब यह है कि लैंड पर कोई भी लॉ स्टेट गवर्नमेंट बनाएगा. तो ये जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने जो लॉ लाया है, इट इज अ मॉडल लॉ, एंड दिस लॉ कैन बी अडॉप्टेड बाय द स्टेट. ये उनको इंप्लीमेंट नहीं करना है, बट दे कैन टेक द मॉडल ऑफ दिस लॉ एंड देन इंप्लीमेंट एट देयर लेवल. सो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ब्रॉट दिस लैंड लीजिंग एक्ट एंड वांटेड दैट स्टेट गवर्नमेंट अडॉप्ट करें इसको, सो दैट द टेनेंट्स आल्सो गेट द एडवांटेज. अभी जैसे मान लो एग्जांपल है पीएम फसल बीमा योजना. तो फसल बीमा योजना में आपको तभी आप करोगे जब आपके पास कुछ लैंड राइट होगा. सो आप इंश्योरेंस ले रहे हो, सो इफ यू वांट इंश्योरेंस यू हैव टू पे टू द गवर्नमेंट, बट यू ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड if you are a tenant with a legal tenant document, तभी आप you can take the advantage, and that is the problem. But in India the problem is that the definition of farmer has always been has not been created properly. Different states follow different approach. Some states follow approach जहां पर वो directly जो है वो owners को ही count करते हैं, and other states में भी land leasing laws में clarity नहीं है. The impact of agrarian distress is felt disproportionately by tenant farmers. ठीक है, so what is agrarian distress? For example, there is a market failure, there is a monsoon failure. Monsoon fail हो गया. In India, majority of agriculture is done through monsoon time में होता है. तो monsoon failure हो गया, crop fail हो गया, बारिश ज्यादा हो गई, flood हो गया, या बारिश नहीं हुई, drought हो गया. So such problems are always faced. Similarly, there could be market failure. Market failure, overproduction हो गया. Overproduction हो गया, price crash. Okay, I'll give an example. For example, my father, also has a farming interest. So we have our land in my village. So we are involved into potato trading. मेरे father potato trading में involved है. And it's a so uncertain business because in one year the price will shot up, other year the price will go down. So 1 year you will make some money, other year you will have huge amount of loss. So this is market failure. So the objective in the entire, how do we help the farmer? आप farmer की जो distress है उसको कैसे, how do you reduce that distress, and that should be the objective. Okay, so the impact agrarian distress is felt disproportionately by tenant farmer. Tenant farmer incurs the cost, faces the risk, while owner receives the rent, subsidies, and the other support. The lessees do not get benefits from loan waivers, moratorium, and institutional credit. जो भी बैंक का लोन होगा, गवर्नमेंट ने कोई लोन वेव किया, लोन माफ कर दिया. So who is getting the benefit? The real landowner. जो tenant है उसको advantage नहीं मिल रहा है. And many a times, or most of the time, the tenant take loan from money lenders. Money lenders से ले लेते हैं, and these are informal. और ये क्या करते हैं? They are very highly exploitative. So they will charge 3 to 4% per month. Can you believe that? 40% annual, 40%, 48%. Okay. So the objective is how do we help the tenant? But ये तभी होगा when the tenancy law or when the law to help the farmer is already there. और उसके लिए हमें क्या करना होगा? We have to make tenants law, across India में जितने भी states हैं सबको अपना अपना tenant law pass करना होगा. And that should be, that should be implemented on ground. अभी दोनों के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है. मैं एक लैंड ओनर हूं तो मुझे सिक्योर होना चाहिए कि मेरा लैंड इतने साल के लिए मैंने किसी को दिया, एंड वंस द पीरियड इज ओवर आई शुड गेट बैक माय लैंड. बिकॉज मेरे अंदर ये भी फियर होता है, व्हाट इफ दैट पर्सन टेक्स माय लैंड. ओके, सो बोथ टेनेंट को भी सिक्योरिटी चाहिए. टेनेंट को पता है कि 10 years के लिए आई हैव टेकन द लैंड ऑन द लीज, सो नाउ आई एम सिक्योर नाउ फॉर 10 years. Okay, so distress is reflected in the fact that the tenant farmers account for the majority of farmer suicides in India as per National Crime Record Bureau data. So India में tenant, most of the farmers, a huge number of farmers are tenants, and they face the problem. So what is the definition of farmers? There are multiple. There are multiple definitions of farmer in official data published by Government of India. Population census defines cultivators as a person who are engaged in land either owned or held in some kind of share. The 59th assessment says possession of land either owned or leased is a farmer. यानी जिनने जो आप लीज पर हो या आप possess करते हो तो farmer हो आप. In fact, जो recent survey है उसने ये कहा कि we should delink from ownership. अगर आप owner नहीं हो तो आप farmer हो ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है. अगर owner नहीं हो तो भी farmer हो सकते हो. If you're owner, then also you can be farmer or you cannot be a farmer. So now it is said that definition of farmer should be anybody who earns a major part of the income from farming. यानी कोई भी individual अगर earning income उसका farming से आ रहा है, majority income, so that should be the farmer. So that is a multiple definition. I think we have to ensure that India में जो tenants हैं they get advantage. And who are the tenants? The tiller. Okay. Access to land as a policy instrument in bringing about equitable growth of rural economies need no further emphasis, and land to the tiller remains just a wishful thinking. Adopting a broader definition of farmer is a short-term solution to ensure inclusive and sustainable growth. तो अगर हमको अपने इंडियन फार्मर को प्रोटेक्ट करना होगा तो हमें टेनेंट्स को बचाना होगा, and for that we have to create laws so that tenants get secure, and tenants are also covered in the government schemes. So far, our definition of farming is a big challenge, and government will have to make a lot of effort. Okay, so again, quota and reservation. So let's understand the background of quota and reservation. थोड़ा सा वो कहानी की तरह I'll tell you the history, and then you can link with the current problem. So Article 14 of India's Constitution, which talks about right to equality. Okay. Right to equality में है equal protection of law. एक प्रोविजन इक्वल प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ लॉ, यानी आपको सबको लॉ का इक्वल प्रोटेक्शन मिलना चाहिए. एंड देयर इज अनदर इज रूल ऑफ लॉ. सब लोग लॉ के अंडर इक्वल हैं, बट इक्वल प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ लॉ सेज जो भी वीक है, जो वल्नरेबल है. लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल. आपकी फैमिली में कोई बीमार है, सो वीक एंड वल्नरेबल है, सो व्हाट डू यू डू दैट? जो वीक एंड वल्नरेबल को ज्यादा अटेंशन मिलता है फैमिली में, more care is given. So that is the same principle. It says that right to equality does not mean everybody is equal. So among the population who are weak and vulnerable, उनको हमें help मिलना चाहिए, and that extended to Article 15 and Article 16. और Article 15 and 16 में हमने ये देखा कि हमको we should provide the reservation in jobs and educational institutions to the weak and needy population, and वो start हुआ SC and ST population से. So in the beginning reservation was given to SC and ST population. That kind of continued. फिर problem क्या हुआ? In 1970s and 80s there was a demand for other backward class, OBC. अब ये तो backward थे, OBC का concept आया, other backward caste. So other backward caste, जो OBCs, उनका एक demand started coming, और इस demand पे they start asking for reservation. So during the period 1977 to 80 के बीच जनता पार्टी गवर्नमेंट थी, तो एक मंडल कमीशन बनाया गया. What is Mandal Commission? It was a commission which will look into OBC reservation. ये OBC reservation पे देखेंगे. So Mandal Commission ने क्या किया? That it gave recommendation, but जनता पार्टी गवर्नमेंट टूट गई. इंदिरा गांधी came, फिर राजीव गांधी आए, उन्होंने ध्यान नहीं दिया. But in 1989, Vishwanath Pratap Singh, VP Singh became the Prime Minister, and he said that जो मंडल कमीशन का रिपोर्ट है उनको इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे. मंडल कमीशन रिपोर्ट said that 27% reservation should be given to OBC also. हमें OBC को भी रिजर्वेशन मिलना चाहिए. ऑलरेडी हमने ओरिजिनल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में 22.5% SC ST को दे दिया था. So VP Singh implemented the 27% reservation to OBCs, which mean effectively जो total reservation हो गया वो कितना हो गया? 22.5% plus 27%. ठीक है. So that this goes for 9.5%. इसके अलावा VP सिंह ने एक और कहा. अच्छा, फिर मंडल कमीशन सेड वन मोर थिंग कि व्हाट इज द बेसिस फॉर रिजर्वेशन. रिजर्वेशन का बेसिस क्या होगा? और इन्होंने कहा कि सोशल एंड एजुकेशनल बैकवर्डनेस. ठीक है. तो हमको ये रिजर्वेशन का बेसिस होगा. अगेन दिस ये बाद में देखने को मिला. देन मंडल कमीशन आल्सो सेड दैट हमको जो इकोनॉमिकली वीकर सेक्शन है, सॉरी, वीपी सिंह आल्सो सेड दैट हम इकोनॉमिकली वीकर सेक्शन को भी रिजर्वेशन देंगे. ठीक है. बट नेचुरली व्हेनेवर यू मेक अमेंडमेंट या आप कुछ इस तरह का लेके आ रहे हो, सो पीपल वेंट टू कोर्ट, सुप्रीम कोर्ट में गए. एनी लॉ मेड बाय द पार्लियामेंट, सो ये जो लॉ है समवेयर इट इज इंपैक्टिंग द फंडामेंटल राइट. आपका राइट टू इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी हो गया, जॉब हो गया. आर्टिकल 15 टॉक्स अबाउट देयर शुड नॉट बी एनी काइंड ऑफ एक्सप्लॉयटेशन, नहीं होना चाहिए ऑन द बेस ऑफ कलर, कास्ट, ऑल दीज थिंग्स. आर्टिकल 16 टॉक्स अबाउट employment right to equal employment होना चाहिए इंडिया में सबको. So that is the that was the objective. So Supreme Court गए, people went to Supreme Court, and when they went to Supreme Court they said कि भाई ये जो reservation हुआ है it is a violation of constitution, because as per the reading only SC STs are given reservation. Supreme Court studied that, और फिर बहुत लंबा थोड़ा डिस्कशन चला, and in 1992 a very famous Indira Sani judgment came. So Indira Sani judgment was a landmark judgment. और इस judgment ने क्या कहा? It said that reservation cannot cross 50%. यानी जो upper limit है reservation का वो 50% हो सकता है. That means you cannot have reservation more than 50%. That's the first criteria. The second, it said that the basis for reservation should be educational एंड सोशल बैकवर्डनेस. यानी सोशल एंड एजुकेशनल बैकवर्डनेस पे रिजर्वेशन मिलेगा. यानी इकोनॉमिक क्राइटेरिया पे जो रिजर्वेशन की बात हो रही थी उसको उन्होंने हटा दिया. सो रिजर्वेशन शुड बी ऑन सोशल एंड एजुकेशनल बैकवर्डनेस. यानी आप सोशली बैकवर्ड हो और एजुकेशनली बैकवर्ड हो, वो डिसाइड करेंगे. और इसके कुछ पैरामीटर्स डिसाइड किए, एंड बेस्ड ऑन दैट पैरामीटर्स इफ दैट एनी कम्युनिटी और कास्ट व्हिच मीट्स द क्राइटेरिया विल बी गिविंग उनको रिजर्वेशन जो है मिलेगा. Now that changed the dynamic. So in various states, every state implemented OBC reservation in their own capacity, but none can cross 50%. But क्या हुआ? Some states द ओबीसी जो नए लोग थे उन्होंने रिजर्वेशन डिमांड करना स्टार्ट किया, बिकॉज सडनली देयर वाज अ कंपटीशन फॉर जॉब्स, कंपटीशन फॉर गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स, एंड दैट डायनामिक स्टार्टेड चेंजिंग. कुछ स्टेट्स ने, फॉर एग्जांपल तमिलनाडु ने रिजर्वेशन को बढ़ाया एंड इट इंक्रीज टू 69% कर दिया. व्हेन पीपल वेंट टू कोर्ट, तो तमिलनाडु ने कहा कि भाई हमारे यहाँ द पॉपुलेशन ऑफ एससी एसटी एंड ओबीसी, ओबीसी पॉपुलेशन बहुत ज्यादा है, मोर देन 50% है, इनफैक्ट मोर देन 70-75% है. सो सच थिंग्स हैपन. बट यहाँ पे देखो इंदिरा सानी जजमेंट ने क्या कह दिया कि भाई रिजर्वेशन का जो कैप है अपर लिमिट दैट इज 50%. एक और थर्ड क्राइटेरिया था, द कंसेप्ट ऑफ क्रीमी लेयर इन ओबीसी. यानी ओबीसी रिजर्वेशन जब मिलेगा तो जो रिच लोग हैं ओबीसी में उनको नहीं मिलेगा. ओनली इफ योर इनकम इज लेस देन सर्टेन लेवल. फॉर एग्जांपल अभी 8 लाख है, अगर आपका एनुअल इनकम लेस देन 8 लाख है और आप ओबीसी में हो, तो आप क्रीमी लेयर में नहीं आओगे. बट लेट्स से योर फादर इज अ आईएएस ऑफिसर और इज इन गवर्नमेंट जॉब एंड योर फादर्स इनकम इज मोर देन 8 लाख एनुअली और आप ओबीसी हो, बट आपको रिजर्वेशन नहीं मिलेगा बिकॉज यू कम अंडर द क्रीमी लेयर. तो क्रीमी लेयर ऑफ ओबीसी विल नॉट गेट एनी रिजर्वेशन, नो रिजर्वेशन. सो ये तीन लैंडमार्क आउटकम था इंदिरा सानी जजमेंट का, रिजर्वेशन अपर लिमिट. बट क्या हुआ, ट्राई एंड अंडरस्टैंड. मेनी स्टेट्स suddenly saw that some people are getting job, reservation का जो opportunities है, it is going to some people and other people are not getting, and that created a kind of a friction among the caste के बीच problem start हो गया. आपको रिजर्वेशन मिल रहा है, मुझे नहीं मिल रहा है. your friend is getting a reservation, you are not getting reservation. Maybe your friend and you have almost same background, only just because your friend is a OBC and you are not. So naturally इसमें एक division, एक society में divide create हो जाता है. So the new communities which are dominant, जो dominant communities थी उन्होंने reservation मांगना start किया. For example, recently few years ago आपने जाट्स, हरियाणा में जाट्स का आपने सुना. Then the पटीदार्स in गुजरात. Now remember ये जो जाट्स हैं, पटीदार्स हैं, मराठास हैं, so these are basically very dominant community. ये अपने respective states में, रेड्डीज in Andhra, Kammas and Reddys in Andhra and those areas. So these are dominant communities and they are land owning communities. इनके पास land भी था. So शुरू में तो उन्होंने रिजर्वेशन का डिमांड नहीं किया, but later on suddenly they started feeling that now some people are getting advantage and they are not getting the advantage. दूसरा क्या हुआ, जो लैंड था, जैसे मान लीजिए आप एक लैंडलॉर्ड हो, तो आफ्टर 50 years मे बी 2 generations have passed, तो लैंड डिवाइड होना चला जाता है, which means maybe you had 100 acres land, but divide होते होते after 50 year maybe per person में 10 acre आ जाता है. So suddenly the feeling, the dominant caste जो थे या dominant communities थे, they suddenly started feeling that we are getting behind and one way is to get the government jobs, वहां पर हमारा होना चाहिए, and that is how they started demanding. So there are, in the past 10 years you would see that many communities in different states, they have been very politically active and they have a renewed demand for reservations in recent time. तो अभी गवर्नमेंट जो महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट उन्होंने मराठास को रिजर्वेशन दिया. Okay, so Marathas are politically dominant community who make up 32% of the Maharashtra population. They have been historically identified as warrior caste with large land holdings. While the division of land and agrarian problems over the years have led to decline in the prosperity among the middle and lower middle class Marathas. Okay, and the community still plays a major part in the rural economy. The discontent in the community was spill over into protest until the quota was announced. So इन्होंने कोटा का डिमांड करना स्टार्ट कर दिया, and that is where government started giving the quota to them. उन्होंने कहा ठीक है आपको हम कोटा देते हैं. But problem क्या हुआ? So महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट created a backward commission और बैकवर्ड कमीशन के बेस पे उनका रिकमेंडेशन के बेस पे रिजर्वेशन दिया. Now that reservation breached 50% लिमिट. ठीक है, सो वो पहले हाई कोर्ट गए, हाई कोर्ट ने नो कह दिया, हाई कोर्ट ने यस कह दिया कि ठीक है रिजर्वेशन इज ओके. देन इट वेंट टू सुप्रीम कोर्ट. तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने अभी क्या कहा है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा नहीं, ये जो रिजर्व, पहले तो उन्होंने स्टे लगा दिया, आप मराठा को रिजर्वेशन नहीं दोगे, नो. हाई कोर्ट ने तो यस कहा, सुप्रीम कोर्ट सेड नो, उन्होंने कहा स्टे कर दिया. एंड सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा कि नाउ आई विल सेंड इट टू द बिगर बेंच, बिकॉज ये जो रिजर्वेशन है दैट इज इंदिरा सानी जजमेंट को वायलेट कर रहा है. सो अभी हम एक बड़ा बेंच बनाएंगे, बड़ा बेंच मतलब मोर जजेस. okay, because Indira Sahni judgment was a bench of 11 judges. तो अभी एटलीस्ट 11 जजेस का बेंच आएगा, वो डिसाइड करेगा कि रिजर्वेशन मिलना चाहिए या नहीं मिलना चाहिए. सो दैट इज द होल. तो राइट नाउ हाई कोर्ट ने तो यस किया था, बट सुप्रीम कोर्ट सेड नो एंड इट हैड स्टेड द जजमेंट जो भी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ महाराष्ट्र ने लिया था, एंड दैट इज द होल इशू. Okay, so Maratha are, the Marathas are looking for reservation, and it is a politically sensitive issue. Remember, reservation is today, the dynamics of reservation has changed. Everybody wants reservation. Everybody wants to show themselves that they are backward. So today the new mantra is, I am more backward than you. मैं आपसे ज़्यादा backward हूँ, मुझे reservation दो. Okay, and it has become a political tool. Elections में जो भी जिनके पास वोट या नंबर ज्यादा होते हैं, they tend to manipulate things, अपने आप को पुअर शो करने की कोशिश करते हैं, एंड दैट इज हाउ ऑब्जेक्टिव इज टू गेट शेयर इन द जॉब, गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स एंड द एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस. ये अलग बात है कि गवर्नमेंट जॉब कितनी है, बहुत लिमिटेड है, बट स्टिल. ओके, अनदर थिंग इज दैट द पीपल हु गो टू द गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स, एक गवर्नमेंट जॉब के अंदर भी, एंड दैट इज मोर ट्रू इन द स्टेट्स लाइक यूपी एंड यूपी एंड ऑफ कोर्स बिहार, राजस्थान, जो ये बैकवर्ड स्टेट्स हैं, यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम ज्यादा है. एंड व्हाई द प्रॉब्लम इज दैट हियर maybe the groups have been created within the jobs also. Okay, so you belong to your Rajput, so Rajput का एक ग्रुप बना हुआ है, Brahmins का ग्रुप बना हुआ है, backward OBC का ग्रुप बना हुआ है, and that is not good, for effective working of the administration. So politicization has happened within the job as well. So bench of Supreme Court heard the batch of petition challenging the reservation for Maratha in education and jobs in Maharashtra. The petition appealed the 2019 Bombay High Court decision to uphold the constitutional validity of Maratha quota under Socially Educational Backward Class Act 2018. The bench also heard the petition challenging the admission of postgraduate medical and dental courses under the quota for the state. तो bench ने पहले तो stay कर दिया, status को कर दिया, यानी जो पहले था, क्योंकि बॉम्बे हाई कोर्ट ने तो ओके कर दिया था. उन्होंने कहा था ठीक है, they said that 12% रिजर्वेशन आप दे दो, and because this was recommended by एक बैकवर्ड क्लास कमीशन बनाया था महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट ने, उनसे उन्होंने कहा था. The bench ruled that limit of reservation should not exceed 50%. पहला उन्होंने ये कहा, because this was Indira Sahni judgment said. But bench also said कि exceptional circumstances में आप इसको breach कर सकते हो. So that has been the whole issue for the reservation. So Deepika has a question. Deepika कहना है कि सर अगर if High Court said yes, then why they have gone to Supreme Court? Deepika, try to understand. हमारा जो judicial system है, it is a appellate judiciary. यानी whatever is the verdict, I can appeal on the higher judiciary. तो highest जो court of appeal है वो क्या है? Supreme Court. So if High Court said yes, और आपके फेवर में जजमेंट नहीं है, जिनके फेवर में दे आर ओके, बट पीपल हु अगेन पीपल फॉर हुम द जजमेंट इज नॉट इन देयर फेवर, दे कैन गो टू द हाईएस्ट. तो वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जा सकते हैं, दैट इज ओके. सुप्रीम कोर्ट जो फाइनल डिसाइड करेगा, दैट विल बी द फाइनल आउटकम. ओके, सो अपील में आप नीचे से ऊपर जा सकते हो, वर्डिक्ट कुछ भी आए, इट विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम लोअर कोर्ट, देन ऑफ कोर्स हाई कोर्ट एंड सुप्रीम कोर्ट. ऐसा जरूरी नहीं कि वो डिक्लाइन हो जाए. डिक्लाइन कुछ लोग के लिए, जो गवर्नमेंट के लिए डिक्लाइन नहीं हुआ, गवर्नमेंट का ओके हो गया, बट जो लोग जिनको रिजर्वेशन का बेनिफिट नहीं मिल रहा था, या जो लोग नहीं चाहते थे रिजर्वेशन मराठास को मिले, उनका तो उनके लिए तो दे लॉस्ट द जजमेंट, राइट. इन हाई कोर्ट में तो जजमेंट उनके तो अगेंस्ट जजमेंट आया. ओके, सो इट इज नॉट दैट गवर्नमेंट won the judgment, but people who are against the government, they lost the judgment, so they can go to the high court, ठीक है ना, सुप्रीम कोर्ट, sorry. So that is it. So bench ruled that the limit of reservation should not exceed 50%. But exceptional circumstances and extraordinary situation में आप लिमिट को क्रॉस कर सकते हो. Okay, that is what it says. So you can give reservation in exceptional, you can breach the reservation 50% limit in exceptional circumstances without impacting representation and efficiency in administration. So that is the Bombay High Court ruling. Okay. So earlier the court heavily relied on the findings of 11 number committee that Maratha is a socially, educationally, economically and educationally backward caste. तो अब इस पर जो डिसीजन होगा वो हाई कोर्ट, सॉरी सुप्रीम कोर्ट का बड़ा बेंच होगा, वो रिजर्वेशन वो डिसाइड करेगा. ओके, सो राइट नाउ अगर मराठा को रिजर्वेशन दे देते हैं 12-13%, सो रिजर्वेशन यहाँ पे 64-65% चला जाएगा, एंड 10% कोटा इज फॉर इकोनॉमिकली वीकर सेक्शन एज वेल. ओके, सो दिस मराठा रिजर्वेशन कोटा एंड ऑल इज क्लियर गाइज, एवरीबॉडी, सबको क्लियर हो गया ये? बिकॉज दिस टॉपिक इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Did you understood the whole story which I explained? The reservation, the Mandal Commission, the Indira Sani judgment, everybody. Any confusion? You can ask me because I'll go slower. I have enough time. Don't worry. Because ये आप fundamental right पढ़ोगे तो वहां पर ये फिर से आएगा. Don't worry. I'll be covering current affair में सारी चीजें घूम घूम के आती रहेंगी. So I'll be taking it again and again. Don't worry. Okay, chalo. So that is reservation. Reservation topic will come again and again in your preparation. And you must be having some people are pro reservation, some people are against reservation. Okay, देवाशीष, बात करेंगे इस बारे में sometime later. Okay, recently आपने देखा होगा Supreme Court ordered removal of 48,000 slum around the railway tracks in Delhi. अगर आप दिल्ली जाओगे तो especially old Delhi के around you'll find, even New Delhi railway station, you'll find around the track बहुत सारा population रहता है. तो Supreme Court ने कहा उनको हटा दो, slum dwellers को. Okay, so they should be evicted from their place. Ajit इसको end में ले लेंगे बेटा. Let me cover this. I'll take this question in the end. Ajit has a question on Maratha reservation. Now, so Supreme Court ने order कर दिया that slum dwellings को हटा देना पड़ेगा. Okay, but people who oppose, उन्होंने कहा नहीं ये सही नहीं है. They said that people who are the slum dwellers who are living around the railway track, it is a violation of natural justice. Okay, अब मैं आपको बताता हूँ what is principle of natural justice. जब आप कोर्ट जाते हो, ओके, और जब एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन आपके अगेंस्ट एक्ट करता है, सो व्हेनेवर अ वर्डिक्ट इज गिवन, ठीक है, सो देयर इज अ प्रोसेस कॉल्ड ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ. ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ क्या कहता है? दैट व्हेनेवर अ डिसीजन इज टेकन, जब भी आप कोई डिसीजन लोगे तो प्रिंसिपल ऑफ नेचुरल जस्टिस फॉलो होना चाहिए. ठीक है, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Now question comes in, what is principle of natural justice? And I want everybody, सब लोग ध्यान दीजिएगा, सभी लोग, be very careful and try to understand what I'm explaining, because ये concept is very technical and this concept will come again and again. आप जो पढ़ोगे बार बार आएगा. There are 3 principles of natural justice. Okay, now let's take an example. So when you were small and you and your siblings were playing, आप और आपके जो भाई बहन खेल रहे थे, and something bad happened, कुछ लड़ाई हो गई and all, and your sibling went and complained your father or mother. So instant reaction क्या होता था? Maybe your mother is busy in something and she got irritated, and आपके भाई ने, आपके बहन ने आपकी शिकायत करी, and your mother came and she slapped back you. ऐसा हुआ है आप लोग के साथ? Have you come across this situation where you got a slap because your mother got unhappy, your father got unhappy, and that is because you were troubling your other sibling, अपने दूसरे sibling को या भाई बहन को आप परेशान कर रहे थे? ऐसा हुआ है? Suppose, I think it must have happened almost everybody, often, every time. Okay, now in a judicial process, it is a violation of natural justice. The question comes in that when you got slapped by your mother, your parents, for the simple reason that your other sibling complained, what should be the normally क्या होना चाहिए? So let's say I am the father and your आपका complaint लेके आपका भाई आया. So my first reaction should be okay. So your brother or your sister hit you. Okay, chalo. So in a normal situation, I would not be reactive, but I would rather do a basic cross check. क्या ऐसा हुआ है? I'll listen to both the sides. Okay, so The first principle of international justice is right to be heard. आप जो लोग भी parties हैं उनकी सबकी बात सुनो. If there are two parties involved in any problem, both the parties should be heard. That is right to be heard. Okay, that is the first thing. The second principle of national justice is second, you cannot be judged in your own case. Okay, what does it mean? It means, let's say I'm a judge और मैं एक केस ले रहा हूं and that case is a company. एक कंपनी से जुड़ा हुआ केस है, but a company is a big company and one of my son is a partner or is a big shareholder in the company, and I know this. And then do you think it is logical or it is right so that I should decide about the fate of the company because my son is a shareholder, because इसमें मेरा personal interest involved हो सकता है. I might become emotional, I might not give the right judgment. So you cannot be judge your own case. जो आपका whenever such situation arises, तो judge क्या कहता है, वो अपने आप को अलग कर लेता है, कहता है no, I cannot be a judge in this case for the reason because there might be a personal bias which might have. So I'll take a I will not be there. So that is second natural justice. आप किसी भी केस में you cannot be judge in your own case. अगर आप किसी केस में involved हो and so then that is not right. The third is जो भी authority होना चाहिए, authority should be benevolent or authority should not decide. Okay, अब जैसे मान लो आपने let's say you are traveling and you are traveling on a bike and let's forget about traveling. आप ऐसे आप normally walk कर रहे हो and you find a guy. I'm talking this to the girls, especially listen girls. So you see a man or rather a boy, he's having a tattoo in both the hands. He is having a maybe stone jeans and a big hair and maybe some rugged look. Okay, and so maybe there's an impression of that this guy or this it could be like a Majnu, like maybe body language. Okay, so moment that person comes across you, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Okay, this guy has, so you develop perception about that individual, right? ये होता है ऐसा. It happens every time when you see somebody from their attire, from their body language, and you might say that this person is bad or good. You might pass a judgment. That can also be there. Okay, so that happens with administration also. Let's say tomorrow you're an IPS officer, you're an IS officer, and you are posted somewhere, and suddenly you see some people or some students coming, and they are not wearing helmet, or so they are wearing helmet and all, but you see that he has a big tattoo and all. So you might suddenly have a bias in your judgment. So here what it says, the authority should be benevolent. There should be no bias. There should be no bias. They should be benevolent. Bias नहीं होना चाहिए. Unless bias अगर होगा तो the first impression is bad. It's like आपने देखा, you did not know the course, but आपने कहा अरे ये पक्का इसने बदमाशी की होगी. This guy looks like that. So that kind of impression is there. If two people are involved, one is a boy and one is a girl, and you are आप कहोगे नहीं लड़के ने बदमाशी किया होगा, लड़की ने नहीं किया होगा. So that is a kind of bias. No, that is not true. So you should not be biased unless until proved. आपके पास जब तक फैक्ट नहीं आएंगे ना तब bias नहीं होंगे. Administration authority should treat everybody equal. Okay, you should not treat somebody guilty unless proved. Not guilty unless proved. For example, ये जो पूरा रिया अभी जो चल रहा है, this whole debate is going on. The Sushant Singh Rajput case, the Riya Chakrabarti. We don't know. Okay, whether she's responsible for the death or not, we don't know. But this whole media trial going on. Okay, I do not know what is right or what is wrong. Okay, because right now it is under investigation. But we have our own opinion. I can see the whole social media divided in two parts, and majority part saying नहीं पक्का यही culprit होगा, इसी ने किया होगा. Okay, maybe something is coming, and things look fishy. So we don't know. I do not have any judgment. I say okay, time will tell. हाँ कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. There's something fishy. but let the authority decide that. Why should I develop my bias? Let the authority. Okay, if she is guilty, let that thing come. So there are three basic principles of the principle of natural justice. जब भी कोर्ट पे आप जाते हो, everybody should have right to be heard, and that is the first principle when you go to the court. The second thing is you cannot be judged in your own case. The third is authority should not act with certain bias. You should be benevolent होना चाहिए, and that is how it should be there. Okay, so इस केस में क्या हुआ, जब कोर्ट ने ऑर्डर पास किया विदाउट हियरिंग द अफेक्टेड पार्टी ऑफ द झुग्गी ड्वेलर्स, the Supreme Court said remove these Jhuggi dwellers, but it was a violation of principle of natural justice because the other party was not held, would not heard. Sorry. So order was passed in long running case of the piling of garbage around railway track. Okay, and this court made an unconvincing connection with the piling of garbage and presence of slum. उनको लगा कि, so that is the first thing. The second thing is this article is basically criticizing the judgment of Supreme Court. वो judgment of Supreme Court को criticize कर रहा है. The second is right to livelihood. कोई भी हो, सबको right to livelihood है. Article 21 of Indian Constitution, what it says? Right to life and personal liberty. Okay, so right to life is linked with right to livelihood. तो आप किसी को हटा रहे हो, you have to make an alternative arrangement. Okay, you have to make an alternative arrangement. Okay, so this is what it says. It says that you cannot take the livelihood of people who are the Jhuggi dwellers. Yes, उनको सुनने की बात जरूरी है. Let's understand their dynamics, their story, and then things will change. In the landmark decision concerning the pavement dwellers, okay, right to life also includes right to livelihood. ठीक है, तो ये सारे हैं right to shelter, right to livelihood under Article 21, Article 19. तो ये आर्टिकल ये कहता है कि they also have right to livelihood, and the Supreme Court ने judgment pass किया, it is ignoring the right to livelihood of such people. Okay. Certain High Court also held that prior to any eviction, a survey must be conducted. Okay. So this is what it says. Failure to reconsider policies and the case laws. तो उन्होंने कहा कि हिस्ट्री सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो पुराने केसेस हैं, they should consider that cases because the slum dwellers also have certain right. Yes, they are slum. They might be living in the illegal land, but that should be checked, that should be confirmed, and then probably the decision should have been taken. Okay, so there is a strike of balance is required between right of the slum dwellers and those affected by the encroachment. Okay, so that is the concept of this thing. So that completes the right to housing. ये 5-star village program पढ़ लेना is, this is a, now this is important. Exploring the idea of blockchain voting. Should I give you 2 minutes break, guys? Should I continue? Just 2 minutes break, then we'll continue for next 30-35 minutes. Okay, should I continue? Is that okay? Okay, good. Heavy तो नहीं हो रहा, right? Everything is okay for everybody. Some students have left. Okay, good. Chalo. What is blockchain? So a new debate has come is a blockchain voting. What is blockchain? एक technology इसको बोलते हैं blockchain technology. So blockchain technology is nothing but it's like a public, decentralized ledger, legal ledger. जैसे मैंने क्या किया, आपने बिटकॉइन का नाम सुना होगा. सो बिटकॉइन इज अ वर्चुअल करेंसी, even though it is illegal, but it is a virtual currency. तो बिटकॉइन यूजेस दिस टेक्नोलॉजी. अभी क्या होता है, जैसे मान लीजिए आपने वोटिंग, तो गवर्नमेंट जो इलेक्शन कमीशन ये सोच रही है क्यों ना हम इस टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज करें, एंड मेनी पीपल हु कैन नॉट वोट, जैसे मान लो आप दिल्ली में रहते हो बट यू आर अ रजिस्टर्ड वोटर इन योर होम टाउन. Now, in order to vote, you have to go to your hometown, or you have to change your, voter ID to Delhi. That there are two options available. आप या तो दिल्ली में अपना voter ID change कराओ, or you go to your hometown. Now, going to your hometown just for voting is something that is not right, because आपको लगता है अरे भी वोट देने के लिए थोड़ी मैं इतना दूर जाऊंगा. Okay, so many a times, so a lot of people, especially the migrants, दे आर लेफ्ट आउट, वो माइग्रेंट्स वोटर लेफ्ट आउट हो जाते हैं. मेनी टाइम्स आर्म्ड फोर्सेस वालों को तो अलाउड होता है, बट दे आर आल्सो लेफ्ट आउट. सो व्हाट इलेक्शन कमीशन फील्स that why don't we allow some kind of mechanism where people can vote online, and that online is you will use this uh, blockchain technology. What is blockchain technology? Blockchain technology एक बहुत ही decentralized record का टाइम होता है. Okay, which means अगर मैंने वोट कर दिया, let's say if I have voted, now let's say दिल्ली में इलेक्शन, मैंने दिल्ली में एक वोटर आईडी बनवाया है और वहां मैंने वोट कर दिया. दिल्ली में इलेक्शन मान लो 10th को है, एंड इन माय होम टाउन इलेक्शन इज ऑन 20th. बट आई हैव वन मोर, आई हैव टू वोटर आईडी. एक मेरा होम टाउन में भी वोटर आईडी है, ओल्ड वोटर आईडी है. देन आई मूव टू ट्रैवल, आई गो टू माय होम टाउन और वहां भी वोट कर दूं. देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम. नाउ यू आर वायलेटेड द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ वोटिंग. आप एक ही बार वोट कर सकते हो, यू कांट वोट ट्वाइस. बट प्रॉब्लम क्या है, द वोटर आईडी का जो डेटा है, वोटर आईडी का जो डेटा है अक्रॉस इंडिया, it is still not centralized, which means there is a flaw in the system. You can vote twice. आप multiple voter ID आप रख सकते हो, and if you make a new voter ID, ideally logically आपका old voter ID should logically should be cancelled automatically on its own. So this is what the blockchain technology will do. It will ensure that somebody who has voted cannot vote again. Okay, and it will ensure, because जैसे ही आपने वोट किया उस decentralized system में that information will be stored that you have voted, and when you go to vote again, that would not be allowed. So that with blockchain technology ऐसी technology है which kind of have a decentralized ledger मतलब जहाँ information record आप maintain करते हो, and that is, so maybe government is looking at, or maybe election commission is looking at to develop such technology, or sorry, use such already a technology developed है. Okay, exploring the idea of further digitizing the electoral infrastructure in the country, and explore the possibility of using blockchain technology for the purpose of enabling remote elections. Remote voting would appear to benefit internal migrants, seasonal workers who account for roughly 51 million population. The envisioned solution might be helpful for some remotely stationed members of the Indian Armed Forces as well. अब कोई सियाचिन में है, वो कैसे वोट करेगा? Okay. So electors would still have to physically reach a designated venue in order to cast their vote. Digitization and interconnectivity, will create additional points, but इसमें problem भी है. Additional point होगा तो there are failure issues हो सकते हैं. Blockchain solution relies heavily on the proper implementation of cryptographic protocols. ठीक है, यानी blockchain में cryptographic protocol use होते हैं, so they should be very proper. And security will also be an issue. जहां पे भी आपका टेक्नोलॉजी आएगा वहां सिक्योरिटी इशू भी आएगा, हैकिंग इशू भी हो सकता है. So all that thing also needs to be protected. So these are issues that might come if we explore the idea of blockchain voting. उसके अलावा अगर हम डेडिकेट लाइन क्रिएट करते हैं for that, it might be prone to denial of service attack. तो denial of service क्या होता है? Denial of service जैसे आपने एक सिस्टम ओपन किया बट उसमें वायरस डाल दिया है, वो वायरस आपको डिनाइल ऑफ सर्विस दे रहा है, which means आप सिस्टम यूज ही नहीं कर पा रहे हो, ओपन नहीं कर पा रहे हो. मोमेंट ही ओपन से नो 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 करके स्क्रीन ओपन होना स्टार्ट हो जाता है. सो दैट इज डिनाइल ऑफ सर्विस. सो मेनी अ टाइम्स which means that technology will have its advantage, but the technology will also come with the challenge of cyber security, fraud, viruses, malware, and a lot of things which might happen. So that is denial of services. But this is, I personally believe this is an idea that should be explored, because a lot many people are not able to vote simply because there is a gap in the system. So that is the idea of blockchain voting. Okay, so one nation, one voter ID system. Adoption of technology should be weighted against the risk it carries in the electoral process. While the adoption of blockchain technology offers many opportunities, the concern it raises must be addressed before its adoption. So अभी जो हमारा process है, postal ballot का है, proxy voting का है, that all has to, maybe technology can be a solution to these challenges. Okay, ये ऐसी है, मार्टर का डिक्शनरी है, देख लेना. It's a dictionary that is updated, you can read them. Now this is important. Singapore Convention on Mediation has finally come into force. So what is this? It's a convention which will enforce the settlement of corporate dispute businesses in India and other countries that are signatories. तो इसमें 53 countries signatories हैं, okay, and जो लोग भी signatories होंगे, जो भी corporate dispute होंगे आपके, उनको resolve करने का एक तरीका बनाया गया है. Mediation means the third party will get involved. Also known as UN Convention on International Settlement Agreement resulting in mediation, okay, and Singapore Convention नाम है इसका. With the convention, business seeking enforcement of a mediated settlement across borders can do it by applying in the courts of countries. The harmonized and simplified enforcement framework under this will reduce the time and the legal cost. Basically, कई बार conflict हो जाते हैं, so a third party can intervene and find solution to the such problems. Okay, so India is also signatory, which means it will boost the ease of doing business and swift settlements निकल सकते हैं. And especially in the cross-border dispute, जब dispute across countries होते हैं, so that is the Singapore Convention on Mediation. Okay, recently India has won the prestigious ESOC body. ESOC body is a Commission for Status of Women, a body on Economic and Social Council. Okay, so India has become a member इसमें, and that is it. It's a body of the UN. Okay, so it is a UN Economic and Social Council, main organs are UN. Okay. It promotes gender equality and empowerment of the women. और ये सारा है. India will be member for 4 years. Okay, so that is a basic information. Now this is important. BT cotton. So what is BT cotton? Let's try and understand. BT is basically a, now mostly we used cotton seeds, but cotton seeds, जो traditional seeds थे, they were prone to pest attack, worm attack. So it was said that why don't we use a technology? हम एक gene editing technology use करेंगे, and in gene editing we'll add a new gene. हम एक new gene add कर देंगे, and this new gene will make the cotton seeds or plants coming from the cotton seeds to be prone from वो pest and worm attack नहीं हो पाएगा, because वो gene होगा, it will create a mechanism where these pests cannot survive. So across India we have come across the hybrid use of biotechnology in the seed generation. तो यहाँ पे biotechnology में आप BT cotton हो सकता है, BT tomato हो सकता है, BT brinjal हो सकता है, and number of things are there. But there are two kind of people. One, people support. That means if you use such technology, gene editing, biotechnology, you can find solutions to the problems already faced in nature. For example, क्या problem हो सकता है? One problem is of course the pest attack. Pest attack होता है, worm attack होता है. The second is climate change. So we can create new seeds, hybrid seeds, a better variety seeds which are resilient. वो climate change पर भी जो है उनका outcome better रहेगा. We can create new seeds और new biotechnology के द्वारा हम नए plants generate कर सकते हैं, wherein they can not only survive in the pest attack and the climate change problems, but also will have more productivity. It will use lesser water, like that. So such kind of thing is already there. BT cotton has always been in use because BT cotton was introduced to solve the problems of the cotton traditional cotton farmers जो face कर रहे थे. So until 20th century, indigenous desi variety Gossypium arboretum was used, and in 1990s hybrid varieties were promoted. These hybrids cannot resist a variety of local pests and require more fertilizer and pesticide. तो आपने जब हाइब्रिड वैरायटी लाया तो उनको पेस्टिसाइड्स एंड फर्टिलाइजर चाहिए था. द गुड थिंग अबाउट हाइब्रिड वैरायटी वाज कि इनका जो प्रोडक्शन था दैट वाज हायर. ओके, सो कॉटन सफर्स फ्रॉम प्लेंटी ऑफ इन्फेस्टेशन सच एज पिंक बॉलवर्म, सैप सकिंग, पेस्ट, ऑल दैट. तो इसलिए इंडिजिनस वैरायटी जो थी वो इट वाज रिप्लेस्ड बाय हाइब्रिड सीड्स बिकॉज़ हाइब्रिड सीड्स को बेटर आउटकम उनका या प्रोडक्टिविटी वाज हायर. देन केम द रिडक्शन ऑफ बीटी कॉटन. इन्होंने कहा कि हम एक बेटर सिंथेसाइज्ड टेक्नोलॉजी ये कैसे जीन एडिटेड जो है हम कॉटन लेके आएंगे. इट्स अ मैन मेड the increased use of synthetic man-made pesticides to control pests and rising cotton led to emergence of resistant pest. कई बार क्या हुआ, आपने जब ज्यादा पेस्ट यूज किया तो पेस्ट वर आल्सो रेजिस्टेंट टू the new kind of pesticide that you're using. So that led to a situation where the farmer started losing money, the productivity came down, and that is where, to solve the problem, BT cotton was introduced. So BT cotton consists of gene called bacteria Bacillus thuringiensis, which has grown in India for about 20 years. This pesticide now produced in each BT plant cell or to protect the soil, plant from bollworm, thereby increasing yield. तो ये क्या करते थे, ये जीन जो एडिटेड जीन थे, ये इसमें it led to a situation where यहाँ पे जो worm थे वो worm they could not survive. तो yield जो था, जो outcome था crop का, वो better होना start हो गया. But there is a problem. Problem was, what about future? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मैंने आपको बीटी टोमेटो खिलाया, टोमेटो में कीड़े लग जाते हैं, सो हमने एक बेटर जीन एडिटेड बेटर, बट इस टोमेटो को आप खाओगे तो इसका लॉन्ग टर्म इंपैक्ट क्या होगा? डू वी नो दैट? व्हाट अबाउट बीटी ब्रिंजल? नाउ कॉटन इज ओके बिकॉज वी आर यूजिंग कॉटन, कॉटन हम खा नहीं रहे, कॉटन हम मे बी यूजिंग इट फॉर क्लोथ्स, but what about the new seeds? What about the new areas, maybe new plant or new food where it will have gene edited? So there are some people who say it is okay, ये safe है, we have tested, और हम लोग टेस्ट किया हुआ है, but there are other people who are critics, उनका कहना है there is a problem. The problem is that what if after 10 years it generates some problem? 10 साल बाद आप बीटी टोमेटो खाओ, आपको डिजीज हो जाए. What if you become a zombie? What if you become a a different kind of person? So we don't know. When you play with nature, when you edit the gene, it has to be thoroughly tested. Cotton तो okay है, but what about other things? So that is where BT brinjal हो गया, BT, इन पे गवर्नमेंट ने रोक लगा दिया है. A moratorium has been there, but BT cotton has always been used. But in recently, a lot of people or thinkers have criticized BT cotton also, and we'll see that. So recently a review was done, and it gave a picture of how BT cotton has done in the last 2 decades. BT cotton का जो outcome हुआ है वो कैसा रहा है. Earlier studies have attributed BT the tripling of cotton yield. उन्होंने कहा कि cotton yield बढ़ गया है, outcome बढ़ गया है. But in the real terms, जब उन्होंने data compare किया, historically they found that only 4% yield has increased, not it was claimed by various studies. Okay. Since yield vary annually by 10%, the benefits were claimed were dubious. उन्होंने बोला कि dubious yield और deployment जो BT cotton का था, जो outcome था, वो सही नहीं था, it was wrong, and and that is where, और फिर कई बार ऐसा भी हुआ that, and they said that जो cotton में yield बढ़ा, that is not because of BT, it is but because of better irrigation and better use of fertilizer also. So they said that BT cotton is is not the only factor, there are other factors also which has led to increase in the yield as well. तो ये जो आर्टिकल है ये क्रिटिसाइज करता है that we should be very thorough in terms of looking at the outcome, or whenever you try to reduce such BT cotton, it has to be checked properly on ground. Okay, so it was said that अब क्या हो गया, जो नए BT cotton आए हैं, they are facing a new kind of pest, okay, and the situation is dreadful. So that is where it is important to look back, and we need to maybe bring back the desi varieties also. Okay, so research suggests that pure line cotton varieties, high density planting, short season plants, cotton yields in India can be good and stand a better chance of withstanding the vagaries of climate change. Okay, but here government need to invest more in the resources and infrastructure, and that is the way forward. So it is time to pay attention to science and technology. To science and acknowledge that BT cotton has failed in India, and not to enter further misadventures with BT crops such as brinjals and herbicide resistance. So that is the whole story. So आप जब biotechnology पढ़ोगे तो ये in environment technology you will study this topic in detail. Okay, maybe I'll explain this topic sometime later again. You have to read a few times before understanding this. So that is the whole BT cotton is all about. Okay, ये life signature on Venus read कर लेना, ऐसा कुछ खास नहीं है. This is important. Global Biosty Outlook Report 5. Now, in the whole I'll give some background. Okay, in the whole 1960s and 70s and 80s, one of the problems that we saw and witnessed, that environment is facing a lot of challenges, and these challenges could be in terms of biodiversity, This challenge could be in terms of climate change. तो अभी इस पे डिबेट डिस्कशन स्टार्टेड, बट द रियल इम्पैक्ट ऑन द ग्राउंड वाज नॉट विजिबल. एंड ऑल दिस, यू नो, 1992 में एक अर्थ समिट हुआ, and in this earth summit it had two major outcomes. First is they say that let's create a body called UNFCCC which will work on climate change. जो climate change हो रहा है उसको address करने के लिए they'll make an effort. The second is it will create a mechanisms of CBD, Convention on Biodiversity. And third is of course, you know, stop desertification. Desert जो बढ़ रहे हैं because of human, that has to be stopped. So basically three major one. UNFCCC yani climate change is real and hence we need an international body which will a UN body which will address the, you know, climate change issues. The second is we will create a convention of biodiversity which will focus on sustaining biodiversity. कैसे हम biodiversity को sustain करें? Because every plant, every animal, every life on earth has a utility. उसका एक utility है, उसका एक importance है. I remember when I was small, I used to, you know, kill the ants, hear mosquitoes here and there every time. But suddenly, after studying the science, after studying after studying, you know, biodiversity, after studying, suddenly I feel that okay, every life is important. Who has given you right to, you know, maybe kill them just because that individual or that, you know, is creating problem? That is okay. Maybe you have to adapt, or maybe you have to create a mechanism that person or that, you know, maybe plant or animal or whatever, you know, leaves that place. Okay, so that should be the objective. But you can't, you know, kill, you can't, execute or, you know, remove the plant and animals because they are somewhere problem. You have to create a mechanism, a balancing mechanism. So the idea is that we need to sustain the biodiversity, the plants and animals, because every, you know, small particle or every small life has certain value and utility. So the first focus was that we need to sustain the biodiversity, we need to protect them, and also we need to promote that. And that is where Convention of Biodiversity CBD came into picture. तो ये CBD का जो objective है, the country which have signed CBD protocol, they have to work to protect their biodiversity. So अभी इसका global biodiversity का एक report था that has been leaked, and that is what it says about. वो समिट बेटा अर्थ समिट था, आप ये बाद में पहले पढ़ोगे, 1992 में अर्थ समिट था रियो डी जेनेरो में. तो ये तो हिस्ट्री का है, बट मैं अभी बता रहा हूं कि ये सीबीडी कैसे बना. तो ये सीबीडी इसी टाइम बना था. तो अभी ये सीबीडी के बारे में एक ग्लोबल बायोडायवर्सिटी रिपोर्ट आई है. ओके, सो व्हाट दिस रिपोर्ट टॉक्स अबाउट, it is a flagship publication of Convention of Biological Diversity. It is a periodic report that summarizes the latest data on the status, on the trend of biodiversity, और क्या हमको implement करना चाहिए. Okay, so what is biodiversity? What is CBD? CBD is fondly known as Biodiversity Convention. It has three main goals, including conservation of biological diversity, जहां भी life है, diversity उनको conserve करना है. सेकेंड इज सस्टेनेबल यूज ऑफ कंपोनेंट, जो भी आप यूज कर रहे हैं, प्लांट्स हो गया, लैंड हो गया, रिसोर्सेज हो गया, उनको हमको बेटर तरीके से यूज करना है. एंड थर्ड इज फेयर एंड इक्विटेबल शेयरिंग ऑफ बेनिफिट अराइजिंग फ्रॉम जेनेटिक रिसोर्सेज. ये तीसरा है. अब एग्जांपल देता हूं, मान लो यू वेंट टू हिमालयाज, और हिमालयाज में आपने कोई हर्ब्स आपने सर्च किया, और इस हर्ब से आपने मेडिसिन बनाया, और इस मेडिसिन को आपने सेल करना स्टार्ट कर दिया टू द होल वर्ल्ड, यू स्टार्ट मेकिंग मनी. Now, that herb has been protected by people living in Himalayas. So ये जो आप income earn कर रहे हो, ideally you should share this income with the local people who have actually protected it. So the idea is that whatever, जैसे मान लो हमने देखा, अभी आप नीम देख रहे हो, या फिर आपने हल्दी. हल्दी is a natural, you know, आज भी आपको हल्दी वाला दूध पीते हो आप, you know, when you get, you know, hurt, you may use a paste of haldi on your body. So these have been there. In fact, modern companies came, the MNCs came, you'll be surprised to know that they said that iska hum copyright kar lenge. Arey, we have been using this from thousands of years, how dare you can do copyright? This is our copyright. Okay, so whenever you use certain herbs, when you use natural resources, genetic resources, तो अगर आप उस यूज कर रहे हो, तो उसका जो इनकम आएगा यू हैव टू शेयर विद द पीपल हु हैव सपोर्टेड एंड हु हैव कंजर्व दैट। ओके, अगर वो हर्ब है बिकॉज इट इज प्रोटेक्टेड बाय द पीपल ऑफ दैट लोकल इनहैबिटेट। तो ये सीबीडी कहता है, पहले तो बायोडाइवर्सिटी को प्रोटेक्ट करना है, सेकंड इज जो भी बायोडाइवर्सिटी के रिसोर्सेज है उनको बेटर तरीके से यूज करना है, एंड थर्ड इज इफ यू अर्न इनकम आउट ऑफ दिस, अगर आप वहां से अर्निंग करते हो तो आपको उसको शेयर करना पड़ेगा विद लोकल पॉपुलेशन। सो ये सो दैट गेव अ बेसिस फॉर मे बी दैट कि कोई मिसयूज नहीं होना चाहिए बायोडाइवर्सिटी का, एंड दैट शुड बी द ऑब्जेक्टिव। So this CBO, GBO is a report on that CBD, and इनका ये क्या कहना है that they say that 2050 का vision biodiversity क्या होगा, they say that we have to ensure that forests are maintained and restored, we do sustainable agriculture, we need sustainable food system, हमको मीट कम खाना चाहिए, we should go for plant based food, we should reduce wastage, ओके, क्लाइमेट चेंज को हमें रिड्यूस करना चाहिए, ओके, वी फाइंड सॉल्यूशंस टू द प्रॉब्लम्स, ओके, वी शुड क्रिएट हार्मनी। तो ये रिपोर्ट यही कहती है, रिपोर्ट सेज दैट in future maybe after 20 years 30 years it will be difficult to survive, try to see how climate is changing. So this climate is changing and hence we have to conserve the biodiversity, and that is the only way solution. We have to adapt, the nature will not adapt, you have to adapt according to the nature. So this conventional biodiversity report talks the same thing, okay, and it also talks about the progress. तो ये CBD 2010 में हुआ था, तो जब 10 में हुआ था उन्होंने कहा कि 2010 से लेकर 2020 तक ये डेकेड होगा बायोडाइवर्सिटी का। और ये जो कन्वेंशन हुआ था यहाँ पर वन वाज एची टारगेट, एची वाज इज अ प्लेस इन इन जापान, और एची टारगेट में उन्होंने कहा कि हमको कुछ टारगेट अचीव करने होंगे रिलेटेड टू सीबीडी। टारगेट ऑफ व्हाट? टारगेट ऑफ सस्टेनिंग वाइल्ड लाइफ और सस्टेनिंग नेचर, ओके, so that is what it sticks reports talks about. Report का ये कहना है that none of the 20 Aichi biodiversity targets were achieved and very little progress has been made. For example, first target was creating awareness on the value of biodiversity. Second was, target 11 was 17% of terrestrial inland water and 10% of coastal to be managed. आपको ये बेटर तरीके से मैनेज करना होगा। Biodiversity target 16 is about access to genetic resources and fair equitable sharing, जिसमें मैंने आपको बताया था थर्ड प्रिंसिपल था। तो ये जो टारगेट्स थे वो कोई भी टारगेट अचीव नहीं हुए हैं in the last 1 decade, and we have done very bad on the biodiversity account. ये जो in the race for resources, in the race for money, in the race for manipulating or income is something that is changing us. क्लाइमेट चेंज हो रहा है तो आपने एसी लगवा दिया, क्लाइमेट चेंज हो रहा है तो आपने मास्क लगा लिया, क्लाइमेट चेंज हो रहा है तो आपने you are playing with the nature, and that has to be reduced, that has to be adapted. That is what biodiversity report talks about. Okay, so ये पूरा आपको समझ में नहीं आएगा, कुछ कुछ समझ में आएगा, थोड़ा टेक्निकल टॉपिक है, it's a part of environment ecology convention and protocols. Okay, but I hope you got some little idea. So these are targets, and it has 2 supplementary agreements also. Cartagena protocol on biosafety. Cartagena is a place. So जब भी कोई movement of living modified organism हो रहा है, मान लो आप वायरस को मूव कर रहे हो या कोई आपने ऐसा मेडिसिन यूज कर रहे हो जो लिविंग मॉडिफाइड ऑर्गेनिज्म उसके अंदर है, ओके, सो उसका प्रोटोकॉल है कैसे मूव करोगे। द सेकंड इज नगोया प्रोटोकॉल। नगोया इज आल्सो प्लेस इन जापान, जो मैंने अभी आपको बताया था that you have to share the benefit with the local population, access to genetic resources and fair and equitable sharing of benefit arising from the utilization. जैसे अगर हम कहीं का रिसोर्स यूज कर रहे हैं तो लोकल पॉपुलेशन का बेनिफिट शेयर करना पड़ेगा। सो दीज आर द 2 थिंग्स, कार्टेगेना प्रोटोकॉल ऑन बायोसेफ्टी एंड नगोया प्रोटोकॉल। थोड़ा टेक्निकल है ये, समझ में आया थोड़ा थोड़ा आप लोगों को? डिड यू अंडरस्टूड दिस कांसेप्ट गाइस? Did you understood this? इसको 2-3 बार पढ़ना पड़ेगा, and when you read you'll understand this better. थोड़ा टेक्निकल है, little technical it is, but don't worry, maybe you'll read once or twice, it will come to you. So basically conventional biodiversity talks about how do we harness and sustain the biodiversity, and at the same time, if we are using the resources, it has to be done in sustainable manner. And the third one is, of course, you have to ensure that अगर हम benefit share कर रहे हैं, तो benefit should be shared, benefit use कर रहे हैं of resources, that should be shared by the local population. So that is the convention on biodiversity. Okay. This is the last news. ऐसी जो है अपने framework है, Ministry of Housing, can read that. Nothing much here. It's a factual thing. Okay, there are some questions. So that is all for today, guys. You can read the Venus पे कुछ है नहीं. You know, some points are there. You can read them. Okay. So any questions? I'll take some questions. Then we'll. Okay, okay, fair enough. Any questions, guys? You can ask me. Debashish is saying, sir, honestly, I'm looking at uncertain future of the human race. At this pace, we'll destroy all our natural balances. Well, Debashish, I'll tell you what. Let's go a little in the history. I know, and whenever such problems have happened, we have adapted, in the nature. We have adapted as per the nature. But I personally see that right now things have become very bad. We are definitely adapting. But I think there are few countries in the world who are the major creator of this problem, especially countries like USA and European countries. They are not serious. They are supposed to be serious. In fact, country like India, country like China is still making effort to improve that. So you are right to an extent, but maybe a time will come when we realize that it is today or it is never. Maybe this COVID-19 has taught us the importance of human lives, the importance of our lives. Maybe money and maybe the kind of life we are living. Materialistic society, material gain is something that is very secondary in life. The real thing is, of course, sustaining our life. Okay. So any more questions, guys, you can ask me. Ajit had a question. If Marathas get reservation, then sir, what will be the use of reservation? It covers all sections of society. Okay. So Ajit, still there are people who will not have reservation. So Marathas, you're saying that if Marathas get reservation means almost everybody will have reservation. No, that's not true. Okay, so Santosh has a question. What is a good way to preserve biodiversity? Love the nature, take care of nature, do forestation, do afforestation, adapt the way you're living, reduce waste, okay, conserve or judiciously use the natural resources, Santosh. So these are the ways through which you can conserve the biodiversity. Okay. यशस्वी बेटा, आपको समझ में आ रहा है बेटा? यशस्वी, you are able to understand these things, right? You call me, आप इस weekend को मुझे call करना, maybe on in the coming days, either on Friday or Saturday, and I want to speak to you. Maybe I'll make some study plan for you. Okay. Yes, you are right, Debashish, you are right. Okay, so any more questions, guys? Should I close for the day? इसमें 2-3 टॉपिक मैंने पढ़ाया नहीं, आप उसको देख लेना. If you have any problem, you can ask me tomorrow in tomorrow's class. They're very basic, remember. I've covered most of the topics. Okay, chalo. So that is all for today, guys. Thank you very much. Can we get multiple choice questions, MCQ, on current affairs? Santosh. Okay, I'll ask my content team to prepare. It can be prepared, don't worry. Yes. Okay, it can be done. In fact, when you have a proper test, which will start, then you'll have MCQs also in detail. In fact, it's a part, current affair test series का part होता है, बहुत अच्छे से करते हैं हम लोग. Okay, I'll make sure maybe the questions are created for this as well. Chalo, take care. Bye.